Hey everyone, I'm just going to do a quick recap on GJ. Going to explain my entry, my reason for entry, where my entry was, my stop loss, my target. Um, so yesterday during the day, during the New York session, price broke out of a little wedge. If we go down to the lower time frames, you can really see it. And I was waiting for a break and retest, which never really happened. Sometimes you'll get a nice little retest of the breakout point, but that it really never came back. It paused for a second and then just kept going. So I was watching this wedge when I first saw it. Price hadn't printed these candles. I get up for the London session, so it was still pretty early in the morning. So I had drawn my trend lines connecting these 2 points like that, and saw it squeezing. So I was waiting for one thing or another. I was waiting for a breakout in one direction or another. That's what I'm trying to say. And that came down to the downside. And sometimes you'll get that quick, you'll get a quick close below and then a quick pop up to retest, the lower trend line, and then a continuation. But never got that yesterday, so that's what I was waiting for. Let's see, from the breakout point to that was 10 hours, almost 11 hours. I was waiting for this trade to manifest. So let me mark up my chart. I think I did it on a 30-minute time frame, but it doesn't really matter. So I'll just start over here. You can see we have our high point. This is the most recent high as of this week. So I extended that trend line down, and I generally like to connect the first two like wicks. So these wicks were price respected this trend line well after this wick established this trend line here. So I left it just how it was, and then originally I had my trend line like this, but I changed it to like this to incorporate these low wicks here, and this was the breakout point. So you can see right here we have two nice intersecting trend lines, which is one of my absolute favorite setups to trade with additional confluence things. You can see we have some really nice structure levels right around in here that have been respected several times. We have the initial little wedge low before the breakout point. Several nice levels in and around this retest point. And I fibbed that. Jump out to I'm pretty sure I did all this on the 1 hour chart. I fibbed the impulse leg that started that breakout from the high of the impulse leg to the low, and that was the 78.6 and the 61.8 fib was right around in between where those trend lines were intersecting. The stochastic on the 1 hour was reaching overbought. The daily was rolling over, coming back into from overbought territory. So everything was just setting up perfect for this trade. And I've had an absolutely fantastic week. So I wanted in this trade, and I was willing to risk a little bit more just to get in this trade. Originally, I had placed a limit order. You know, I marked up my chart and I placed a limit order at 141.91. And I usually try and get to bed between 7 and 8 o'clock Eastern, or not Eastern, Central Standard Time. And this trade was just kind of coming up into this territory right around there. So I had my limit order. Originally, I just put it at the low. 141.79 is where I put it. But I was doing a little bit more analysis right before I was headed to bed, and I was like, that doesn't look like the most confluential point, and everything is like intersecting right around here. So I changed my limit order to 141.91 because, you know, even though I've had a really nice week, I don't want to just blindly enter a trade. You know, I was going to put my stop above this here, this high point, and that I don't typically like to do more than 30 pips of risk, even on GJ. Very rarely, and it's usually if I'm just playing with house money, which this trade was all house money. You know, I wasn't risking anything, that I wasn't giving much back from this week. You know, I'm just shy of 400 pips total for this week. This is probably my last trade for the week. It's just been an absolutely phenomenal week. So I was willing to risk, you know, a little bit more than 30 pips. So initially I was going to put my stop up here about 45 pips or so, and just a limit order at 141.79. But I had set an alert on my Thinkorswim. You know, I can right click and create an alert, and it'll send me a text message when price gets to that point. And I saw how bullish this candle was right before, you know, it filled my order. Right as it closed, I canceled my order because I was awake and I was watching it, and I saw how bullish this candle was, and I was like, this thing's going higher. There's like no wick on the top, which means there's no sellers entering the market at this point. So I knew it was going higher, so I canceled that limit order at 141.79, which is literally just like a pip or two above where this candle closed. And I don't remember, but as soon as I canceled it, it popped up above my, it would have filled me, and then popped back down, and you go through the usual emotional things like, I should have just left it. But of course, you know, it went back up. So the next hour went by really slow, because price was just slowly ticking away, and it was just kind of hovering around this 141.80 spot, between, you know, 141.80 and 141.75. It was just kind of bouncing back in there. And I was actually laying in bed on my phone, and I was dozing off, watching this on my NT4 mobile app. And I was dozing off because I was tired. I'd been up since 2:30 in the morning, so I'm ready for bed come 7, 8 o'clock at night. So I was watching this, and, you know, I kind of dozed off for just a second, and I had my limit order changed to 141.91. And price wicked up real quick to just below my limit order and had a strong little push down to about 141.80, I believe. So I was a little frustrated at that. I didn't think it was going to come all the way back up after I saw that initial surge down. So I waited for another quick little pop up, and my entry was 141.86.8. We'll just change it here. 141.86.8. So that was my entry. I canceled my limit and manually entered this right there. And obviously, had I left it, it would have been a I would have been filled and taken pretty much no drawdown. But like I said, I've had a phenomenal week. I was comfortable with risking a little bit more, and it actually worked out pretty well. I didn't even have to risk more than my usual 30 pips. Well, I think I did risk about an extra 5 pips or so. Maybe I risked 40. I can't remember exactly where my initial stop was. I'm pretty sure I just did 40 pips from my entry, just above this where I fibbed from, just above where it started its impulse move down. So my initial stop was I don't know, we'll call it, I'm pretty sure it was 142.25 if I remember right. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it was more than my 30 pips, which was, like I said, was fine because I've had a phenomenal week. It was just a little shy, less than 40 pips, I think. So that was my initial stop loss. And I woke up a couple times in the night. Originally, I had set my target. Where did I set it? Originally, I had set my target, I think, right here. So kind of right around there. Actually, it was just above this negative 23.6 is where I set it. I think it was right around 141.10 is where I had set my target. So I woke up a couple times through the night and I was up, like 20 pips, and then, I woke up again and, I was up just a couple pips, and then when I woke up this morning, it was finally making its run down towards these lows, and I waited until the close of this 3 a.m. candle, and my order had almost been filled at 141.10. At that point, I was up, right about almost 70 pips, and I saw the strength of this candle. It had almost no wick on the bottom, so I canceled my limit order to, or my buy limit order or take profit order, to kind of reevaluate and just kind of trail my stop manually. And when I got to my chart this morning, I was kind of looking, for a good place to take profit, and I noticed that it was kind of forming, an inverted bowl, and you can really kind of see it better on the 4-hour chart, and it's almost symmetrical. It looks pretty much the same. So I was kind of anticipating a similar structural move back down, like this, and so my target was, I kind of took, so price from my entry point, I used this wick here, which was essentially kind of right at my entry point, and I projected a kind of a trend line from like this little impulse move right here up, and I duplicated that and dragged it over and placed it on my entry, and kind of moved it over so it would kind of almost mirror this, and that kind of was right around the negative 61.8, and this spike down right here. So that was my target. I was targeting that, and that's pretty much where I took it off at. It touched it, and by the time I could cancel or take profit manually, it had popped back up just a few pips. So when I went to take profit, it was at 140 pips, but I ended up grabbing 138 out of it, and you can see it kept going, which is fine. 138 pips, just shy of 400 total for the week, and this was my GJ trade. let me know if you have any questions about it.